Maybe. Oh, the cords! Oh, the cords! Oh, the cords! Get them away from my feet! Okay. We have this. Oops, maybe. Welcome in, everyone. There we go. Okay, so we have our mic there. Let's share Discord. There we go. Hey, Bay Area dude, how are you? Welcome in.
Oh my God.
Welcome in, everyone. We are going to send this to some people real quick after posting it to our... There we go. And now it is to you. And you. Let's see. Do we have any other people in the end we want to send this to? Let's see.
Maria.
You. Nate. You. You. I'm going through and I think that's good. Oh, I can only select up to 10 people, so I have to unselect people. Seriously? Why doesn't it just not let me select anybody after 10? Sheesh. What are you talking about, G? Welcome in, everyone. Okay, and then we're going to send this to a few more people. You. There. Okay. Welcome in, everyone. I hope you're having a wonderful day. Happy Tuesday. Oh, babe, where did I put my planner?
Oh, wait, it might be
Where?
Oh,
thank you. Welcome in, everyone. Thank you for the follow, Freddie. So I will be having Ethan Sweetland-May on here shortly. He is running in Indiana for their Senate District 47. But until then, let's chat, guys. What's going on with you? What's new?
Oh, yeah.
Let's see. We are going to add one item. Where is it? Welcome in, everyone. Hello. Hello, hello. There it is. There. Hey, Mike. How are you? Hi, Yuav. Welcome in. Welcome in, guys. Happy Tuesday. Oh, I worked today, so I'm a bit achy and sore. And I got a kitty over here who keeps wanting me to pet her butt. I'm not joking about this one. Do you hear her? Do you hear the mewing? Meow, meow, meow. Nothing else, you can see her meow. So this is my Quetzalcoatl. She's my Bengal. She's a mouthy little girl. A new legend rarity character is coming to Dragon Ball Legends, and this time it's Goku Father's Bardock. Okay, bet. Let me. This is being weird. Let's go. You ready for an invite, Ethan? Thank you for the heart, me, Johnny. How are you doing today, Johnny? Sorry, I'm trying to get my my stand just right. Plus, for the first time ever, there is a giant character supporter unit, and it's Bardock's best friend, Tora, as a giant ape. Okay. Been pretty good, Johnny. Been pretty good. Okay, let's see. Do we have volume with Ethan?
How the heck is this working?
Okay, we got volume.
We're
don't
close.
have picture.
God almighty.
So if you don't have the button, I do know that you have to leave and come back.
Okie dokie.
That's all I know.
Right back.
Okay. Okay, so he'll be right back. You know, technical issues. Every time there's technical issues. There we go. Making sure I can engage with everybody, and let's see. I was busy at work today, so I had an hour gap between sessions. So I took my little book to write questions for, well, to add a question here. And then here's all of the stuff for tomorrow's interview. And then I started on Friday's interview. And then the dude on Sunday, the first of the two, he's right here because he was skipped because he had to reschedule because he got sick. So I have watched some of the King Kong movies, a lot of the older ones. I can hear you.
Now there's more happening this time.
Yes.
There's the video, and ta-da!
I see you.
It worked. Hey,
it worked.
How's it going, Shadow?
It's good. How are you?
We are. What a day! What a
between all the threats that our president has thrown out, what they plan on doing in other countries, and then just like the overall just exhaustion of just dealing with the every day to day. I was driving to work going, 420, gas is 420. If I had the time to stop and take a picture of it, I would have taken 420. I'm not joking. Go on the way to work. I'm like, if I had time to just pull over real quick and take that picture, be like, it's 420 in Indiana. No, the gas prices.
Yes. No, it was, they dodged that by it being 419 in southern Indiana here. So
every other place was 419. I quite literally think it was just that one place being a whole bunch of stoners.
We love
because I will tell you this, once upon a time, I managed a gas station, and there was one time where I talked the manager into dropping it 1 cent because it was 421 to 420 just to fuck with people. And he goes, corporate probably won't like it, but we can do it for a while. I'm like, thank you.
That's hilarious. Genuinely, that's hilarious.
But yeah,
420 a gallon here in southern Indiana for the first time. And I ordered myself an electric scooter last week.
I don't blame you.
I was on the fence for a long time, and then I did the math on my 20-minute one-way commute. And here in New Albany, we have something called the Greenway, which runs all the way from New Albany along Clarksville and Jeffersonville along the river. And so which is about 2/3 of the way to my work. And then it's just on the road, the final third. And I used to bike it, but then I really don't like bicycles, personally.
So
I
used to love biking. And if I had a mountain bike, I'd be okay with that. But I cannot do street bikes. I was in an accident when I was 18. I did a Superman over the handlebars. I fractured my upper jaw and I left. If you look, you can tell these 3 are implants.
Oh, jeez.
So I have implants because I fractured them all. They had to be removed. I lost 3 teeth. So ever since then, I am okay on mountain bikes, but street bikes, I immediately break out into a cold sweat going, nope. Give me my fucking mountain bike with no curved handles. Like I know where to, no, just give me my mountain bikes. But yeah. Yep.
People, I was talking to coworkers that are already trying to figure out who lives nearby so they can carpool effectively, because it's all fun and games until your weekly fill up goes from $40, $50 to $80, $100.
Or it's usually about 35 and they put 68 and they barely got halfway.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
That's right.
No, I keep hearing that, like, it's going to be $100 for a full tank of gas. And I'm sitting there going, I am so glad I just paid $3,000 to get the evap system in my car fixed from start to finish. Like, mind you, they had to replace a fuel hose because there was a hole. They had to replace the catalytic converter. They had to replace the charcoal canister. They had to replace the rubber piping, and they also had to replace the purge valve because it was all broken. $3,000 later, and they even cut things off. Like, they didn't charge me the full price. They charged me warehouse prices because by that point I'd taken my car in 6 times for the same issue, and I was asking them to just fix it at that point, figure out what is wrong and fix it. And so they did the smoke test from the gas chamber instead of the front, and that's when they found out there was a hole in the fuel line and the catalytic converter was shot. Like, okay, so at least we now know why I'm only getting 170 miles to a tank of gas when I should be getting 400.
What do you drive? Do you drive a Prius or
a Nissan Versa, a little tiny mom car?
Yep,
you know,
love it.
I've had it since 2013. Like, it is still going strong. You know, this is the second time we've had to fix, the evap system. But okay, if that's the only thing she's got going wrong with her, and everything else is fine. Like, we're going dandy. We're doing dandy.
Absolutely.
Like, and she gets fantastic gas mileage. Like, it is 30 to 35 sitting driving and 40 to 45 highway driving. I can make it to here to St. Louis on 1 tank of gas.
Holy cow. That's awesome. That's awesome.
Thank you for the Heart Me Rock. So it's one of those, I am so happy. I decided to invest the money in fixing that because at this rate, she will make that money back in a year.
No doubt.
Because I do. Unfortunately, I have to drive 20 minutes to work, 20 minutes back. An electric scooter is not an option because I have to go along either State Road 31 or Allisonville. And neither one of those are conducive to an electric scooter because for most of them, there is no sidewalk and you'd have to be on the road. And they're going 60 miles an hour when you can only go 40. So that's not an option.
Yep.
So plus on top of that, with me doing mobile massage, I have to take my car or I have to take my chair with me, and you paused yourself. He did it again. Hi, Benny. Welcome in. Thank you for the follow. I wonder if he's going to realize that he paused himself.
Yes, I realized.
Because I'm like, I could continue talking, but I don't know if he's going to hear me.
So crazy because I could hear you. I didn't realize I was paused, and then
until I'm like, but he's paused again, so we're going to stop for a second.
I'm like, what did I do?
But yeah, so like for me, I either have to take my massage table, my chair, my gear, my stool. I have to have a car. I have to have a car that gets really good gas mileage.
Yeah.
We're talking about, I have my first event is in a few weeks, and I have to take a tent. I have to take a chair. I have to take a canopy. I have to take this, and I have to fit it all into a car. And it's like, well, if I have to take more than one chair, I'm either going to have to take Dan's Equinox or I'm going to have to rent a vehicle that is large enough to do that. And so I've been looking into like just renting a van around here. I'm like, okay, I could do $550 for like 7 days. That's not bad. Not bad at all. I just have to make sure I make that money back. Yeah.
What a time.
Yeah. And it's like, this is just getting even more painful. It's more and more painful.
Speaking of which.
What's up?
No.
It's painful. Speaking of what's painful.
Yeah. Speaking of what's painful. I saw your impressive notebook as we were booting up. I do have to. I was planning to stay until like 8:30, but I might need to cut out like a touch early because
you're fine.
Pick up my kiddo. But yeah.
For you, I only have a few topics, and they're touching base on a lot of things we talked about before. Where I went and did more research, so that way we could actually talk about it better. Because I'm like, okay, like I did all my BlackRock research.
Oh God. You seem so happy.
I did my data center research.
Yeah.
I did my housing crisis research.
Yeah.
Yeah. This is not one of those happy smiles. This is one of those, I have a smile plastered on my face right now because otherwise you would see a very angry face right now. This is my angry smile.
Stamp.
Like, this is not, no.
Yeah.
So let's start with, we'll talk about BlackRock because BlackRock leads into the data centers and everything else that's gone into Indiana and the laws they've passed in Indiana that push, it quite literally puts the onus for supporting the data centers, their infrastructure and everything on the citizens of Indiana with the corporations not having to pay a damn thing to build up the infrastructure or for energy for the first 5 years.
Yep.
That's why we're seeing 200 to 300% increases to our energy bill. We got hit my husband went over $200 negative in his account, and I'm sending him $300, right? Through Venmo, hits his account. He's $23 positive till he gets paid in 2 days. That was the Wednesday before payday. He's like, I'm like, don't even worry about paying me back, honey. I said, don't even worry about it. We are just that tight right now. I tapped into my emergency fund, which is my Venmo account, where I keep X amount of money just for situations like this. In case somebody's account gets overdrafted, boom, I can shoot you $300-$400 to make sure that's taken care of.
It's
the fact that we're getting back to that point.
Yeah.
There's no way we can conserve energy more than what we're already doing. Like, everything's turned off. Things are unplugged. Like, if we're not in use, the Keurig, unplug, this unplug, that unplug. Why? I'm not even taking a chance of it sapping just the littlest amount of energy, because that's going to be $10.
Yep.
You know, and so understand all of this ties together, because I looked into the infrastructure of our data grid, and I have a lot of that written down. Like,
what do you got?
So, I did research. So we'll start with BlackRock. And I know one of the things that you want to focus on, and that's why this is tied to, is breaking up monopolies. Mm-hmm. I'm not sure how many people are aware, but in Indiana, every single publicly traded utility in Indiana is owned by BlackRock, Vanguard, State Street, and a few others. And if you do the research and you go and look at the people who are on the boards of BlackRock and their umbrella daughter companies, you're going to see overlapping board members for Vanguard, State Street, or Street State, something like that. Wellington, BlackRock, like the top 7 investors in all these companies have overlapping board members.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
I'm sorry, but if you are the board member on 5 different companies buying up electricities, and you know you're trying to work for all of that, that is a monopoly, because all of those businesses are not owned by the same person.
Right. And of course, you were alluding to this, that because of the way the law is written in Indiana, they do not have to pay for any kind of infrastructure or expansion. They get to preemptively charge us, the ratepayers, for the cost of these improvements.
Which we're not even sure are going to be done, and the money's going to be used for that, by the way.
If it is canceled, if it fails for some reason, we are still on the hook, and we cover those costs for them.
Yep.
For companies that are guaranteed 10 to 12% profit margins, investor-backed, locked-in market without competition. They're like, the CEO of Duke Energy makes $1.6 million in salary, besides like 10, 12 million in benefits packages.
Yep.
Centerpoint, way more.
So here's what I was going to point out, because again, I wrote down each and every one of the energy plants in Indiana, and I went and I did, okay, well, who are they owned by? Okay, well, who is that owned by? Oh God, BlackRock. Oh God, BlackRock. Duke Energy. 65% of Duke Energy is actually split up between Vanguard, BlackRock, and 3 other investors. 5 investors own 65% of Duke Energy. And here's the thing. Duke Energy is the only energy provider you can have in North Carolina. They have 100% monopoly on the data grid in North Carolina. I found that out 2 days ago when I did my North Carolina interview. I'm like, wait, what? And I'm like, oh my God, they do. 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 I didn't even know that. Oh my God, they do.
Yeah.
This is why I say the more I look into this stuff, the more disgusted I am, because we have no clue how deep these tendrils go, and they are all the way into the ground. Mm-hmm. And it's
absolutely
so NIPSCO. So that is
Northern Indiana.
Yep. So BlackRock only has a 20% minority stake, and the rest of it's owned by InSource, who is the one operating it. Mm-hmm. So yeah, they might only have a minority stake, but they are the only other investor. The rest of it's owned by the original company that has been running it.
And NIPSCO is notorious in the state, which you probably know. They've recently been exposed for double charging thousands of their customers in Northern Indiana.
Yes.
For years.
Yes.
For years.
And they're not wanting to pay the money back.
And of course, currently they're engaged in an illegal lockout of their employees who were in the middle of negotiations for contract. And in negotiations, NIPSCO walked away from the table and locked them out. And there was now a strike and a lockout at NIPSCO as they illegally blocked their employees from working and from paying them.
Yep. It's so gross. And I also have unions written down because this is why we need unions. This is why they need to not abolish unions, because unions are there for labor rights. Corporations don't like them because unions fight for their employees.
That's right. And like it's crazy that right now we have the lockout at BP, we have the lockout at NIPSCO. Right here in my district in northern Indiana, we have MPP, which is a manufacturing company at the heart of Campbellsburg, Indiana. It has been for decades. And they won their union 2 years ago. And for 2 years, they've been stonewalled and intimidated and delayed from actually getting a contract by the private equity firm that owns them, which is based in New York. And I know because I've been talking to some people who are part of day shift stewards, and they were talking about how they recently got an offer for a 1% raise and a 1-year contract after 2 years of stonewalling. So yes, this is happening at every level, and it's not a coincidence that it's happening now because we know the current administration is working hard to gut the National Labor Board and undermine the collective bargaining in our country.
To make it so it's harder for people like you and me to actually survive. And that's what it is. It's not even thriving. It's just survival at this
getting
point.
By.
You know, and that's the downside is we can't even talk about our society thriving, the people in it thriving, if we're all in survival mode. Because I'm not sorry when I say if you only have 2% of your population thriving, that is not a thriving country.
No.
Okay, let's be honest. That is not a thriving country. It absolutely is not. And to go back, so for BlackRock, American Electric Power, they may only have an 8% minority, but the rest of it's owned by Vanguard, State Street, GQG, and Wellington. You know, you know, in turn, like the Indian Michigan Power, they're directly linked to that because that's their parent company. That's where I had to go. Oh, American Electric Power, they're owned by Indiana Michigan Power. Oh, that's not bad at all until you go, well, who owns them? Oh, okay, well, that's not good.
Who owns them?
BlackRock.
BlackRock.
Yep. They have a 42% hold in IMP. And it's like, oh, well, that's great. And then let's talk about AES Indiana. Do we know what happened with AES Indiana?
Why don't you tell me?
So AES is actually a daughter company of AES Corporation. AES Corporation was acquired by BlackRock for $33.4 million. So they own 100% of it now.
Yep.
So anything AES used to cover now is 100% BlackRock.
And there was legislation introduced by the Democratic minority in the Indiana State House this year, specifically to block these kinds of sales from occurring.
Yep.
And it was absolutely shut down by the supermajority. And there were some whenever in the supermajority that were like, it's not necessary, it's not going to be a problem. Immediately happened.
It's immediately a problem. Like day one, it's a problem.
Right.
Well, then we have Centerpoint Energy also, because they acquired Vectron, and they are 90% owned by BlackRock, Vanguard, T. Rowe Group, and Wellington.
These big private equity companies, they have been targeting public interest. They've been targeting everything to do with, like a lot of these companies are behind the push to kill the Department of Education and push for charter schools and for privatization, basically privatization at every single level of their society so that they can turn it into a profit center.
I was reading that article that you had posted where it was highlighted, where Gary Byrne is basically telling them, if you want change, then vote for the other guy. Fine, we'll all go vote for the other guy. Like, that's a great way to endorse. Funny. That's a great way to endorse your opponent is, fine, if you want change, then go vote for the other guy. Okay.
Right. No, that was a letter to the editor. And the woman who wrote the letter to the editor lives in the northern edge of my district. And yeah, that line I've had a number of friends and supporters in the area to start cranking out memes and materials related to
like
vote for the other guy.
Right. And it's one of those like, okay, are you so sure you're going to win because people are okay with the status quo? Do you not hear any of us in the background screaming, we're not okay with this and we're not the minority anymore?
Have you looked at my opponent's Facebook page in the last 2 weeks?
I have not.
Okay, well,
I'm going to make a note to go do that.
Well, the universe gives many gifts, even in these trying times.
Yep.
And my opponent is a guy named Gary Byrne, and Gary has a proof from the president addressed to him endorsing his candidacy for state senate. It is he and 6 other state senators got some kind of endorsement tweet from Indiana. People who supported redistricting, hardcore MAGA people.
Yep.
I mean, Gary Byrne is the guy who campaigned next to a cardboard cutout of the Trump. And yeah, it's pinned to the top of his Facebook page now. This endorsement from Trump. Blah blah blah. Gary Byrne. There's a tragedy right off the gate where he's like representing the great people of Indiana's 47th congressional district. We don't have 47 congressional districts. We have 9 congressional districts. He's the state senator of the 47th state district.
Yeah. It's like, okay.
So great little tragedy right out the gate. But all this blah, 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 Gary Byrne is great. He will never let you down is how the message ends. And at the outset of launching the most unpopular war in 100 years, causing what is going to be the worst energy crisis in modern history, and possibly all history. And with the further revelations that are still going to come out of the Epstein files. As Sun Tzu says, never interrupt your enemy while he's in the middle of making a mistake.
Yeah. Never interrupt your enemy while he's showing to the world exactly who and what he is and giving you all the tangible proof and evidence you need. Yep. Just let him do it and then be like, well, I literally have proof of you saying it. So how are you going to do that one?
Right. And the desire to latch on to Trump as though that is going to help him win, when literally we've had 30, obviously there's one election right now that just went up for Marjorie Taylor Greene's vacated seat. That could be the Republicans' first win in a special election, because so far it has been 30-0.
Right.
For special elections. They've lost every single one. And they very well may lose this one. It's definitely their strongest chance to win it. And
my fingers are crossed if they lose.
Yeah.
An independent or a Dem needs to get it. I know I've had people asking, well, why don't you interview more reps or Republicans? I've asked a few. They tend to be really, really nasty when saying no. I've only had one Democrat be an asshole when saying no.
That sucks.
And it gets to the point where, okay, well, you know what? I'm going to go with the independents and the Democrats, because at least they're nice when they say no, or they just don't respond. Right. And most of them, it's like, oh my God, I'm so sorry. I just saw this. Can I please still have a spot? I'm like, absolutely. Like, I'm doing this until nobody wants to be on my stream anymore. So it's one of those, like, by all means, please let me give you a platform. And then this is one that caught me. I went ahead last night and I Googled any other utility company in Indiana. Okay, so the only one that came up was Indiana American Water. This is who we have. Did you know Indiana American Water is a daughter company of American Water Works Company?
I did not.
They are a subsidiary. Do you want to know who owns American Water Works Company?
Do I want to know who owns it?
Oh, no, do you? It's BlackRock, Vanguard, State Street. They own 81% of it, those three combined.
That's insane.
Yeah. So that's quite insane. Literally, when you said they have a monopoly on utilities in Indiana, you didn't actually realize how correct you were. Because it wasn't just it was not just the energy grid. It's also the water. They own our water. So this is what, I made a joke last time about how, well, you guys are getting notices about, if you're not careful about your energy usage, Southern Indiana is going to start experiencing rolling blackouts throughout the summer because the data center needs their energy. What's going to happen? Are you going to be told that you have to conserve your water too? Because this is the thing that there is a data center. It's 15 miles inside of Indiana at the border. And is it Lexington or Louisville? That's right there. I can't remember. Louisville. Okay. So it's 15 miles in. So understand that, yes, it does actually use some of Louisville's energy grid, but all Louisville's not going to see anything for that. They don't have to pay anything. And this is part of the reason why that company opted to do Indiana instead of in Kentucky, because in Indiana, they don't have to pay 80 to 85% of their contracted data usage for up to 15 years.
Mm-hmm.
That's a law in Kentucky. You know what else is a law in Kentucky? In Kentucky, they also have to build power plants equivalent or more than the energy they're using. So if they're using 400 megawatts, they have to produce a power plant that creates 400 megawatts. Guess what? Indiana does not have to do that. The other reason why, water usage. Here's the thing, the hyperscale data centers that are being built in Indiana.
Mm-hmm.
And this is how all of this ties into Indiana with the electrical grid and the water. And why I'm not surprised BlackRock is now being found as I'm looking at everybody else's water. Oh no, they own them too. They own the energy grid and they own your water. Yeah.
Yep.
But here's the thing. Hyperscale projects, depending on the size, take between 1 and 5 million gallons of water a day.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Okay, I said that very harsh so people understand. Because, they say they're going to use 70K in a year. We have 1 to 5 million in a day coming in. Mm-hmm. And that's okay. They don't have to meter their usage. Why? Because Indiana said in the law, but they don't have to. The people will take care of it.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
So the people will conserve their water and not drink as much water so you can have the water. The people won't use as much water on crops so you can have the water.
Yep.
That's the problem.
Yep. I think they are going to have a real problem when they try to push, when they actually ends up that way. Because they're already starting to see it in places like Mississippi and in places like Georgia, where they built these huge data centers in rural areas. And people are starting to get sick. They're showing up at their county meetings. They're showing out at their city council meetings. And there's not a lot of things that can stir a sleeping populace out of their stupor. But when their air becomes unbreathable, when they can't get water out of their pipes, and when they have rolling blackouts to fuel these big concrete buildings where they know it's all going.
Guess what?
I'm running for office. So I can't finish that sentence.
But you can say, I'm not. I know exactly what happens. They get angry. They get pissed. They get very angry because what do you mean I can't flush the toilet when I take a shit?
Yep.
Because I got to conserve water. Hey, I grew up in water scarcity in the Midwest at certain times where you do. Mm-hmm. If it was brown, you flushed it down. Otherwise, you let it sit.
Yep. Yellow, let it mellow.
Yep. Brown, flush it down. But the fact that here we are in 2026 and in a state that while our water's not the best, we can be the first to admit that it's really not. We have a surplus of it. So why should we be sitting here being worried about whether or not we are going to have to conserve our water in order to promote these data centers? Mm-hmm. I mean, then go ahead.
No, I was going to say, I had a chance to go up to Indianapolis here recently with a group called Hoosier Action.
Okay.
They're here in Southern Indiana, primarily up to Bloomington. And they do a lot of great stuff. They do a lot of community organizing. And they had what they called the People's Hearing on Data Centers, because public officials aren't holding hearings or listening sessions about data centers. And so they organized this event in the state library right adjacent to the State House. And I got to speak at it. along with a number of people, not as a candidate, but as a resident. And one of the things that I said there was like, this is a question: what do you know what scholars generally consider the most innovative and time-saving invention of the modern era?
Other than running water and electricity, what?
Right. Those are we've had running water of a kind for a while, right? Electricity,
right? Because we had aquifers and this and that. So I mean, running water has been a thing, but it's like hot running water, potable water to every house. That has only been in the last 100 years.
That's huge. But they generally agree that the washing machine was the most innovative, time-saving invention, because that was a task that took at least one entire day, often more than one day. And it took that entire task and condensed it into something that took an hour that people didn't have to do anything with. They didn't have to touch. And it's particularly a task that fell to women. And it gave women back a day to a day and a half of their time to be productive in other ways, to pursue other interests. And I was learning about this in a conversation about what does innovation do and how do we measure how beneficial it actually is. For example, the telegram immensely sped up communication over like the Pony Express.
Right.
And then the telephone improved on that.
Yeah.
But the margin of improvement in terms of speed
was significantly smaller.
You've got it.
So whereas
with the internet.
This is perfect example. Okay, mail. Okay, Pony Express. Great. But as we, so we first had the Pony Express. That's how you got it out. Then you went to telegrams. So that meant instead of taking a week to get there, it took a few hours to get there. Okay. And then from there, okay, well, we went from a few hours to instantaneous. Mm-hmm. So, I mean, yes, the graph was there, but it went from there to there. That was the improvement. And since then, it's been incremental, getting smaller and smaller each time because there's not much to improve on.
Mm-hmm. Balloon Hero says that we've got an echo.
I don't hear an echo on my end.
Oh, dear. I've got my headphones in.
Typically, headphones is when there's no echo. It's usually when somebody has their headphones out and we get reverb.
Huh. I guess I am hearing a little bit of echo on my side. I don't know.
That's weird. Like I said, I don't hear one at all on my end. So
okay.
But yeah. So for anybody who's not aware, hyperscale project for a data center means anything that's 300 megawatts or larger. So that is a hyperscale. So the smaller ones, so the 300 to 400 ones are the ones that will take about 1 to 1.5 million gallons of water a day. And it's the ones that are closer to, 800 megawatts that are going to be taking the 5 million gallons of water a day. Unfortunately, because of what Indiana lawmakers have done, these constituents don't really have much they can do to fight back other than to go to town halls and vote in new representatives who can possibly overturn or make those laws better so they actually protect the citizens instead of basically protect the corporations and demonize the citizens for standing up and saying this is not okay. Yep. Why am I paying $500 for my energy when I was paying $100 last month?
Yep. And of course, like the important thing to have in mind is you say megawatt. What is that? That's a whole lot of energy.
Yeah, it's a lot of energy.
It's a lot of energy. Comparatively, we're talking about how the city of Salt Lake in Utah would use 150 megawatts of energy on a daily basis.
Mm-hmm.
So if you've got a data center consuming 100 to 600 megawatts of energy on a daily basis, that helps you understand the scale of energy usage we're talking about.
Yeah.
And to that, what I was saying about these gradual but marginal improvements to our communication, to computing, to all this stuff. There's a ton being made of how much data centers can do for us. do for us. And the marginal improvement that it brings to our lives, faster computing, there's some positive things that can come out of.
I mean, there are some. Don't get me wrong. It makes it easier to research. It makes it easier to do this. It makes it easier to do that. But let's talk about the downside of it.
Exactly.
I mean, there are people who are now, AI music is a thing. You have AI music content creators putting out AI music, claiming that they created the music. And I'm sitting there going, no, that's fake music. What's real music is, let me tell you about my rapper violinist friend who legitimately, that's what he does. He plays violin and he raps at the same time and he dances on stage. It's amazing.
That's awesome.
It is. That's an artist. That's a music producer. That's somebody, that is the creative sphere. Unfortunately, AI is going to take a lot of the creative jobs away. The artist jobs, the painting, the being more creative with your hands. Believe it or not, the jobs that actually prove our society is evolving and growing, because here's the thing. And you can go back to the Renaissance. When you start taking the painters, the philosophers, the musicians, the artists, all of those people out of society, and you have that taken over by a computer, your society actually starts to go backwards. It starts to retrograde, because art is the sign that your society is actually growing and thriving and going forward, because people have the ability to be creative instead of being stuck in survival mode. Mm-hmm. So there's a huge thing where when you take the ability for everybody to be creative out of the equation, on top of everything going on with the corporations and how they're pushing us down and basically not giving us time to breathe or live or be able to afford gas to drive to our jobs. That's another thing, is how are half the people going to get to work when they can't afford gas to get to work? It's all tied together. It is all this interconnected, tangled web. And unfortunately, the only way we can start to unravel the web is by talking about the web and being like, well, there's this part we can untie, and oh, hey, look, I got to end. Who wants to help me unravel this knot? Because that's exactly what has to happen. We're all just looking for the end so we can start pulling and figuring out where that knot is so we can start helping to unravel it, because they've knotted it up so much that our skein, which should be a beautiful tapestry, is instead wadded up in a ball and all crisped together. And you're like, what the hell did they do? What did they do? And they're like, we'll just get a new one. It's like, no, you can't just get a new one. This is the one we got to work with. We got to fix it.
We have to fix it. And creating space for people to actually live, creating wages that actually give people the chance to not merely survive, but do cool things like have a barbecue on the weekend, have your friends over.
That's part of the thriving part, is where you have the ability to take a step back and take a deep breath and exhale and not feel like the world is crushing you. That's thriving. I know that sounds so weird, but how many people actually have a lot of times where they take a step back and they can completely relax and the world's not crushing them? When was the last time you were able to do that? To anybody in the audience, when was the last time you were able to take a deep breath, exhale, and just exist without having to worry 5 minutes later what's going to happen, what you need to do in order to do this and do this and do this? Instead, you can just exist in that moment. That doesn't happen to very many of us anymore. We don't have that luxury. That's a luxury and a privilege we don't feel like we have. But it's a right that we should always have, because it's the pursuit of happiness. The pursuit of happiness is being able to take a deep breath and not feel like the world is crushing you.
Yep. And the illusion that this super demanding, high performance, taking as much of your time in your life as possible to turn it into profit, the idea that it creates a more profitable, or it creates a more beneficial society, has been so thoroughly disproven, has been so thoroughly shown that, like, it's just extracting more out of people's lives without actually producing more good. A really formational book for me is called Journey to the Common Good by a guy named Walter Brueggemann.
Okay.
And he's a irascible Old Testament scholar who passed away a while ago. But he does an incredible job talking about the story of the Hebrew people fleeing Egypt, right? And he talks about it through the lens of an empire of anxiety and a community based on grace. And he talks about Pharaoh as this most powerful, richest man in the world who is plagued by nightmares of lack, plagued by nightmares of not having enough. And he keeps finding ways to organize his empire to extract more from his people, to enslave minorities, to further extract and turn everything into a mechanism to fuel his anxiety, feed his anxiety.
Yep.
Because no amount of power and no amount of excess is enough to satisfy the anxiety that empire produces.
Yep.
The only alternative is a community based on grace. And he uses the analogy of when the Israelites do leave Egypt, they're out in the wilderness, and every day they have enough for today. There's bread from heaven. There's quail that comes in. Right, this idea that the world provides enough for everyone, day by day.
Yeah.
So long as nobody is hoarding it, because this is also part of the story. When one of the rules about manna was you could only harvest enough for the day. If you harvested more, it would rot in your tent. This magical bread from heaven. Obviously, this is a story about community. This is a story about how is it possible to move out of this system of extraction and anxiety and become a people who live in community where everyone embraces the grace that there is enough for today.
Yes. Enough for today, and as long as you're not greedy, there will be enough for tomorrow and the day after.
Exactly.
And everybody gets their own share. There's enough for everybody as long as nobody hoards. If people start hoarding, that's when the imbalance happens. And that's what we're seeing right now. I'm a big believer of, things may be tight at times. And I look inward and like, you know what? No, here's the thing is I'm doing everything right. I'm walking the path I'm meant to be walking. The universe will provide. And it does every time, every damn time. We need something, somebody steps up or something happens and it's just a windfall in our lap. I'm like, see, I told you, as long as we continue to have faith and walk the path that we have chosen because it's the right path for us to walk. We're doing the right thing because it's the right thing for us to do. We're not doing something because we think we're going to get rewarded for it. Perfect example. You know how much money I make off of doing these interviews? Not a damn cent.
I was trying to say, I bet not much.
Nope. I made like 2 pennies today. Yep. And you know what? I'm okay. I used to go from making $15 to $20 a stream to making 2 to 3 pennies. Why? Because I'm not doing the chill and vibe. I'm not doing this. Instead, I'm using my platform and my voice to give a voice to others. Why? Because I think that's significantly more important at this point in time. Did I do a chill and vibe stream on Saturday? Yeah, I did. It was fun. Had a blast. Talked to people that I haven't talked to in a while. People came and chilled. And then I'm back to what I'm doing on the normal, right? So this is my normal right now. Why? Because it is so much more important. It is so much more important for us to know who's out there, who's fighting for us, who's actually trying to make a difference in our country. Because there's so many of us going, well, we don't know. I don't know. I have no clue. A month ago, I could not tell you anything that I know now. Why?
Yes.
Because I did not know. I was ignorant on certain topics that I'm no longer as ignorant on. Because I'll be the first to admit, I still do not know the whole point. I can't wait to talk to Erin again. She is like the expert on data centers. She's why I'm like, okay, and note. Okay, and confirm. And this lady knows what she's talking about. Okay, cool. Absolutely. I will ask her more questions. But that's awesome. What I do is I find the people who are the experts on those topics that I have no knowledge on. And I'm, okay, well, tell me what you know that I can start researching and start getting information on so I can feel confident when I'm talking about this. Why? Because there's a lot of people who want to talk about data centers. I need to know about data centers. So talking about the environmental impact, and I know you mentioned on that's one of the things that starts happening and people start taking notice is everybody around them and their kids themselves, they're getting sick. Flint, Michigan, anybody? I'm using that as a perfect example because of the amount of cancer that came from not just the residents, but the residents who had lived there over X amount of years and then moved away. They all had cancer too, and they all had the same type of cancer. And that's part of the reason why the scientists were able to tie everything back to Flint, Michigan, going, no, you have these other 50 people who moved out and in the last 5 years have had cancer too. They all came from there. It's all the same type of cancer. Well, if they all have the same type of cancer and you're saying it comes from a specific place, it comes from the specific place. Okay. If everybody has aggressive lymphoma, it's because one of the chemicals in the water is giving everybody aggressive lymphoma. Okay.
Yeah.
So understand that's part of what I'm bringing up is the environmental impact. First of all, let's talk about the fact that they rolled back the EPA last summer. Then at the end of February, beginning of March, they passed a law on the federal level stating that on the state level, EPA laws cannot be more strict or stringent than what the federal level is. So the federal level is the max.
Yeah.
In my opinion, that's ass backwards, and the federal level should be the bare minimum. Not, if we don't care about this particulate, you're not to care about it anymore. And if the company wants to care about it, well, they can care about it. Because guess what? None of the companies are going to care about it because they're not going to make a profit if they care.
That's they're not going to make as much of a profit.
That's exactly my goal. They say they won't make a profit. It's no. You will still make a profit. It's just not going to be as high as you want.
Mm-hmm.
Instead, that money that they're saving that's going towards their profit is actually being passed on to the American citizen who lived in those areas and even up to 150 miles away from said areas. Why? Mm-hmm. Because pollutants travel. Hello, wind.
Yep.
So now you have all these people in a 150-mile radius from this direction, because the wind constantly blows that way, who are now going to have those side effects. So it's not just the people who live in the immediate proximity area, but it's also the people who live 50, 60, 70 miles away from there that are going to be affected.
You're exactly right.
Hey, Nate, not everybody realizes that, where it's like, oh, well, that's 100 miles from me. That's not going to bother me. Actually, do you know the wind patterns in your state? Because it just might. It just might, depending on the crosswinds in your state, affect you. Really?
And if it doesn't affect you, if it doesn't affect you right now, it will down the road.
It will.
And it's affecting
at some point. It will.
Who live there. And the misconception that we can, it's not that we can keep passing this buck. I am optimistic that the generation that grew up hearing dilution is a solution to pollution, because they actually used to say that used to be a saying. So, you just diluted the pollutant down enough that it wouldn't be dangerous anymore. That the people that believe that are not going to be majority soon.
Yeah, thankfully.
And yes. Because it's really hard to shake those foundational beliefs. It's really hard to shake those core stories.
Yeah.
And as organizers, as activists, as candidates, one of the things that we have to do is help the next generation, millennials, even the first batch of alphas coming up here. That we can change things, we can make a difference, but it's now.
Yeah,
it's us.
Yeah,
we're not going to get another run at this.
Like it or not, it is up to the people who were born in the 70s and 80s to step up and start doing something. Like it or not, Gen X, millennials. It's us. It's our turn. We have to take the flag from the old guard, because the old guard is no longer serving us.
That's right.
And I know a lot of people in our generation don't want to get involved because we've seen how gross it is, and we don't want to have anything to do with it. But guess what? Very simply, this is what I tell everybody is, you know what? That's fine. You don't have to do politics, but keep in mind, if you don't do politics will do you, and you're not going to like it, because I promise you, it's not going to use lube. Okay? That is the nicest, sweetest, politest way I can put that to make people understand exactly what's going to happen, because you don't do politics. Well, why do you think you're paying $5 a gallon at the pump? You don't do politics. So it's doing you.
Your utilities have gone up 300%.
Your groceries are going up. This is going up. That your mortgage has gone up. Your property taxes are up. Well, you have not done politics, so politics has done you.
On that note, I
Yes.
have to go pick up my daughter. That is a perfect end to this conversation.
We are going to have to pick it up because I have more about in the environment, data centers, like talking about this silent pollutant that nobody talks about.
I am so grateful that you're doing these. It's really fun to jump on and see you doing them and see the clips that come out of them. So thank you, Shadow, for using your platform. It's super cool. And yeah, we'll do this again.
We will. I will definitely reach out to you and we'll get you booked. Even if it's another 45 minutes to an hour on a Tuesday, we'll schedule you in.
Sounds awesome. Thank you so much.
Of course. I'll talk to you later, Ethan.
Talk to you later. Okay. Figure out if I can do this. I got it.
So I'm going to go ahead and hop off. That was Ethan Sweetland-May. He is running for Indiana, their Senate District 47. So this video, along with all the rest, will be available on YouTube. The link is in the bio. Much love, my friends. Take care.